Hello there friends and followers, and welcome to this X-Plane 11 video. We are currently situated at Innsbruck, Austria, and today we're going to be taking a look at the recently released Milviz Turbo Otter. It is my aim in this video to provide you guys with a fair review of this aircraft and sufficient insight so that you can decide whether this aircraft is for you or not. So let's get started. Considering that this aircraft was first introduced in 1925, Milviz, in partnership with V-Flight Air, has modeled this aircraft almost to perfection. It looks very authentic, a very high fidelity rendition of the aircraft in terms of the 3D model. Every aspect of this aircraft's 3D model has been very carefully crafted to recreate a high fidelity rendition of the real aircraft. As you can see here, the age shows on the aircraft fuselage, on the aircraft wings, the landing gear, just really a very, very authentic, high quality rendition of the real aircraft. How about this 3D cockpit? You can almost smell the grease. A true rendition of the actual aircraft's cockpit, all in high resolution textures. The fidelity is something I have a lot of appreciation for in this aircraft, and the attention to detail is absolutely superb. It is without doubt that Milviz and V-Flight Air collaboration on this aircraft has resulted in a very authentic rendition of the actual Turbo Otter. If you like 3D passenger cabins, this aircraft has a fully modeled 3D passenger cabin with passengers, and the passengers are actually done quite nicely as well. The Milviz Turbo Otter comes with a handy control panel accessible by hovering your mouse on the left side of the screen. Clicking here on aircraft will give you access to the ground equipment, such as the covers, keys, tablet, and glass objects. If you're having, by the way, problems with FPS, you can always turn the glass objects off. You have access to the GPS options. You can elect to have a dual GPS option, single or no GPS at all. You can cycle through the deliveries in real time, and you have the ability to enable or disable the load manager. Now with the load manager, you can manipulate the number of people in the front and rear of the passenger cabin, as well as the cargo. Now, one thing that kind of threw me off is the fact that you can't access the fuel or manipulate the fuel from within the control panel, which is kind of strange. So you have to actually do it from the X-Plane default menu here, and we go to fuel and balance, and then you can, manipulate the fuel. Not a big thing, but for an aircraft of this fidelity, I would expect the fuel manipulation to be included within the control panel. Food for thought for the developers, and hopefully that they will find this comment useful for future development. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start the aircraft from the cold and dark state, and of course this aircraft has AviTab integration, so we are going to follow the checklist here for the most part to start the aircraft, because I really know very little about this aircraft. I've read through the manual and the engines. According to the developer, this aircraft was developed to the book, so everything, fuel management system is realistic, the flight model, the ground operations, the actual engine performance. And based on what I've read and what I've seen in the sim, there is a lot of resemblance in what the manual says and what the aircraft actually does in the sim. So parking brake is set, flight controls. Let's unlock the controls and hide the yoke. Let's see here, check for correct and free full movement. Yep, we can do that later. Trim tabs as required. All switches are off except for the generator switch on junction box, which is to be left on at all times. I guess that's what they're talking about. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Condition lever is on idle cutoff. It is not, so let's do that. There we go. I really like the sounds. Again, really nice F-mod sounds on this aircraft, and they're done quite well. Let's see here. Fuel emergency shutoff is in. All circuit breakers set on, including flight and engine instrument circuit breaker switches. Inverter switch is on, and that is this little guy here. All right, inverter switch is on. Let's see here. Fuel transfer selector is off. Flight instrument check set altimeter. All right, we'll consider that it's done. Master switch is on. Push to test lights. You can push all the lights here to test them. And you can do the same here, 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 here. So you can test all the lights just by clicking on them. And let's see here. All right, so fuel quantities, check page indication, communications equipment test, tested. All right, so we're gonna start the engine now. Let's see, oh, okay, before start, so master switch is off. Okay, all doors are closed and secure, propeller area clear, brakes checked and set, power lever is idle. Well, let's make sure it's idle. Standby emergency power lever wired to off, and this is what they're talking about here, and this is modeled, by the way. So it actually works in case of an emergency. Prop control, increase position. All right, prop control, increase position. And condition lever idle cut off. Okay, and we're gonna go here now. Master switch on for engine start. All right. Cabin heat control lever cold. Number 2, fuel boost pump switch on. Check fuel low pressure. Warning light goes off. Then turn switch off. Okay. That's 2. It does go off. We're good there. P3 heater is on. Let me open those guards. P3 heater is on. And let's see here. Engine ignition is on. Engine ignition is on. And then start switch, hold on and check for oil pressure rise. Condition lever, run after stabilized NG at or below 12%. 18% is optimal. Okay, let's do that. Let's go ahead and press here. Okay, we are good. Run. Everything's looking good. All right, let's see what it says here now. ITTNG monitor. We're looking good there. All pressure is good. Engine started and ignition switches to off when engine attains idle RPM. Okay, the engine hasn't yet attained idle RPM, so we're going to wait for that to happen. And let's see here. The next one is the taxiing checklist. Wing flaps to cruise to improve directional control. Engine temperatures monitor. Parking brake is off. We'll leave that for now. All right, let's go ahead and set the trim for takeoff. Let's see. There we go. That's about right. Yep, that looks good. And let's see here. Power lever momentarily advance beyond idle to initiate taxiing speed. When momentum is obtained, retard to idle, and taxi speed becomes too high at idle. Reduce speed by moving the power lever into reverse range as necessary to control speed. Okay, so we are ready to taxi now, and we're going to release the parking brake and taxi to the runway. There we go. Beautiful rendition of Innsbruck by Orbex. All right, let's take a look at the before takeoff checklist. All doors properly closed and locked. Tailplane trim, takeoff setting. Let's see here. Let's see, takeoff, okay. So, all right, takeoff. When aligned on the runway, tail wheel locked, power lever advanced smoothly. to takeoff power according to either the torque limit, ITT 790 Celsius, or NG limit 101.5, whichever governs. And then direction maintained through rudder control. Allow airplane to fly itself off a tail down attitude at approximately 60 miles per hour. All right, and then we're going to climb to about 80. That's fine. All right. Landing lights on. And nav and strobe lights are now on. And we are good to go. All right. Let's line up. Alright, and we are ready for takeoff now. Lock the tail wheel and let's go. Takeoff. Tell you, this aircraft is quite a challenge to fly. Let me take a look here at what we're doing. I think we let's bring this back here a bit. Alright, so what I've done is I've retracted the flaps, and we are now climbing at about 80 miles per hour. We can turn off the ignition. Tell you, this aircraft feels very, very heavy, and it's quite responsive. So when you make those turns, you really feel you're flying a big aircraft. Alright, before we head back to the airport and attempt to land the aircraft, let's go ahead and ease off on the power. And actually, let's see what happens if we bring the power completely to idle. Oh, just look at that. STOL warning? Yeah. And we recover from the stall. Very nice indeed. Alright, let's make a turn here. And we're going to give it a little bit of rudder. Alright, we're going to head back now to the airport and land the aircraft, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce some rain. I've changed the weather here to show you guys the rain effect, and I'm going to attempt to land the aircraft in this weather. As you can see, some very heavy rain here, and we're off from the runway center line, so we need to make a few adjustments here. Hopefully I won't make a full mess out of the landing. Alright, let's reduce our speed. to maintain about 80 miles per hour for our landing. And let's take a look here. A little bit of right rudder there. Ooh, that wasn't very good. All right, let's bring the aircraft to a complete stop here on the runway. And as you can see, the rain effect again. I really like the rain effect. I think the aircraft is well made overall, beautiful sounds, quite challenging to fly, quite challenging to land. If you want to really push your skills to the limit, I think this aircraft will provide you with a real challenge. And I do recommend that you read the manual because I think it will give you a lot more appreciation of the aircraft while you fly it and while you fiddle around with it. Truly an immersive aircraft, very high fidelity rendition of the real world counterpart. Ladies and gentlemen, these are my final remarks on this aircraft. This is a high fidelity creation of the Turbo Otter. It is a very well built aircraft in terms of its 3D modeling and texture work. The attention of detail is absolutely commendable, and it's got nice F-mod sounds, rain effect, and night lighting as well. In my view, this aircraft is easy to learn but difficult to master. It is one that will bring a real challenge to your flying experience in the flight simulator. I rate this aircraft a 9 out of 10. Before we conclude, I do want to stress out the fact that I paid the full price for this aircraft, so I am confident to tell you that it is definitely worth the money in my view. And until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.